All right, 8th graders, we're on to the next part of our paper, which is the counter-argument section. This, since we're doing two body paragraphs in favor of our thesis, this should be, overall, this will be the 4th paragraph in our paper. This one tends to be probably the most confusing for students of all the sections. The counter-argument is a little confusing because some students think that they're supposed to just completely like flip sides and do the opposite side that they've been arguing from the beginning, but that's not what you're doing. What you are doing is you're thinking about what the other side might say, and then you're trying to respond to it. A good writer will try to anticipate what those that disagree with them might think, and then bring that up so that they can answer those critiques that other people that disagree with them might have. So as you'll recall, we are arguing that humans are evil. So a counter-argument paragraph is going to talk about how some people would disagree with that. So the counter-argument that we thought some people might have to our idea would be that they might say that evil is only a reaction to life experiences, so that people aren't basically evil, they're just reacting to the life experiences they have. They're making bad choices based on life experiences. So they might say it's not a basic human trait. They're not basically evil, they're just reacting to their life experiences. So that would be how I would start my counter-argument paragraph. And then what I would need to do is rebut it, meaning I need to show why these concerns that people have aren't necessarily valid, that they're going to be proven wrong. So my response to this critique that some people might have is going to be that it's still humans' own choice to do something wrong. So they might have bad life experiences that pressure them into doing things that are evil, but it's still their own choices that make them commit those evil acts. And so ultimately they are evil because they're the ones choosing to do it. Now I need to elaborate. I need to support this statement. I can't just leave it that way. I need to elaborate from my evidence in my papers. So I might take a look at my evidence from my different stories that I've read. In this case, it's movies I'm using, and use that to come up with things to support this idea that humans are still making their own choices and that they're not just reacting. They're not being forced to become evil. They're choosing to be evil. So my evidence was Scar was in the royal family, but he chose to go for the throne. So it was Scar's choice to act evilly. He may have felt a little, he felt some jealousy, and that might have pressured him into making that wrong choice, but it was still his choice. So that ultimately makes him evil. Similarly with Voldemort, he had some power, and he chose not to be satisfied with it and chose to go down that path of trying to take over basically the entire world in that story. Lastly, we need to end with our concluding sentence, which is basically going to bring the reader's mind back to what the counter-argument was in the beginning and our response to it. So it's almost like restating these two things in different words. So I said, while certain life experiences will make choosing good more difficult, it definitely could make it more difficult, it is still a choice that students, I should have said that people, I think I was thinking about something else while I was writing there, that people, it is still a choice that people make. So that kind of summarizes everything I've talked about up above. Now, one more thing I wanted to talk about was this counter-argument transition. It's going to seem a little weird to just throw this paragraph in the way it is, so I'm going to need to transition into it using one of the transition words from the transition sheet. You're going to see a section called the Counter-Argument Transitions. It gives you a lot of choices. It says things like, although others, even though others, while many others say that. I think I'll go with others argue that. So I'm going to write others argue that, and that would start my 4th paragraph of my paper then. Others argue that evil is only a reaction to life experiences, not a basic human trait. So that's how you do the counter-argument paper. Feel free to pause this, go back as needed, and then get started on your own pink sheet.